I don't know about you, but my Christmas was going really well until Philly started playing with their food in the second half versus the Giants, causing this viral sideline interaction with Nick Sirianni, which then resulted in A.J. Brown not speaking to the media after the win. DeVonta Smith, he went on to explain why the Eagles are running out of time to fix their bevy of issues, yet despite all of that, Jalen Hurts, Kelee Ringo, Haason Reddick, they all balled out to help the Birds stop the bleeding in the month of December. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, on a weekend where Brock Purdy threw away the MVP, and of course Dallas gifted the Birds basically the NFC East, and Patrick Mahomes, he looked terrible and continued to struggle, Philadelphia had an up-and-down win, but there was lots of good and also lots of bad. And of course, I'm in the Christmas spirit still, and so I'm going to try to be somewhat positive today. Obviously, it wasn't perfect yesterday, but the Eagles have 11 wins, and the NFC East seems very much fixed in their sights. They needed this win. They needed a get-right game, and thankfully, they were able to hold on in the end, and hopefully the ship is starting to point in the right direction. I don't know if it's going the right way, but at least it's pointing in the right direction right now. Of course, Jason Kelce probably had the best 30-second clip explaining exactly what happened after the game and how we all kind of felt about their winning as the Giants.
I think it was a sloppy game all around, and I think we played really well at times, which led to a lot of, especially offensively, we had 450-some yards or something like that. We moved the ball really, really well. We ran the ball well. We threw the ball extremely well. So a lot of really, really good things, but obviously the mistakes, the gross errors, the penalties kept them in the ball game.
Kelce's 100% right. There's plenty of good and there's plenty of bad. For instance, Salamone Zaccheaus running into the giant killer to start the third quarter. My gosh. And then how about Dallas Goedert falling down on the speed out, causing a pick six that really vaulted the Giants back into the football game. These sort of boneheaded plays, they're going to cost us against better teams. They have cost us over the past couple of weeks, and they have to fix it as soon as possible. But we're kind of running out of time. And DeVonta Smith, in his post-game press conference, he explained that Philadelphia is doing just that. There's not a lot of games left to get these kind of things right.
We got 2 weeks to get together. Got to fix it in 2 weeks.
We hear the frustration, but is there any part of you that could be like, we do have 11 wins, we're all right? Or is it
11 wins, we're not playing good football. As an offense, we're not where we want to be. So, I'm not satisfied. Yeah, we got 11 wins, I'm not happy. It needs to be better for what I want to do, what everybody else in here wants to do, where we want to be. We're nowhere near that, so no.
Now, of course, the moment that everyone is trying to figure out is this viral exchange on the sideline between Nick Sirianni, Haason Reddick, DeVonta Smith, maybe A.J. Brown there as well. And for instance, some people on Twitter would take Sean's side and say, hey, pay attention how A.J. Brown looks at Nick and that moment with Haason Reddick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's losing the locker room. Then, of course, other people take the exact opposite side, like injured Eagles linebacker Sean Bradley, who said, it's called football. Everyone's trying to win a game. Blank happens. This is nothing. Stakes are high. I have no idea what to make of this. Is it a big deal? Is it a small deal? Is it no deal at all? I do know that A.J. Brown refused to talk to reporters after, telling them that I was taught that if I had nothing good to say, to not say anything, I'll take the fine if I have to before walking off. Now, that doesn't sound good, but we've seen A.J. Brown problems before. We've seen Jason Kelce get upset at Nick Sirianni before. This is not necessarily anything new or crazy, and whether it speaks to Nick Sirianni as a head coach or speaks to players just really wanting to win football games, I'm going to take the more positive approach simply because it's Christmas and the Philadelphia Eagles won. You can go doom and gloom, and I'll probably see that in the comments section. But I'm going to go this as it's probably nothing. It's probably going to be just fine. But it is concerning that these sort of viral sort of things continue to happen. But again, at least they won, because you could be Travis Kelce and the Chiefs having this sort of meltdown on the sideline, and then imagine where we'd be talking about if this was happening in Philadelphia. Now, for what it's worth, Nick Sirianni was asked about this incident multiple times, and he seemed to brush it off as somewhat of a non-issue.
I get animated a lot. Obviously, there's things that when mistakes are happening or trying to get, the communication going, it's just a little bit of that, and that happens throughout a game. It's going to be between players and players. It's going to be coaches and players. It's going to be coaches and coaches. But when you have the relationships that we have and the connections that we have, we're able to move on quickly. The guys know all we're trying to do, and the coaches know all we're trying to do is to get everybody to play their best, and sometimes that's with a smack on the butt, and sometimes that's with a yell. But I think all those guys know how we feel about them, and the coaches know how we feel about them and each other. So.
Now again, for all of this bad and all of this drama, they still won. And there was a ton to be excited about yesterday. Like the fact that Jalen Hurts, he threw for 300 yards, was only sacked once, and made some really crazy Houdini-like plays. I mean, this pass to Grant Calcaterra for a big first down, that was unbelievable. And then maybe the season-saving 3rd down and 20, finding A.J. Brown on the right side here for a first down. He looked sharp, he looked in command, and he had really one of his better nights the past couple of weeks. Like, you take away that pick 6, which I really don't think was his fault. I mean, Goddard slips here and falls. If he doesn't fall, it's at least an incomplete pass. It's not an interception. This game would not have been that close if not for that. And of course, the Lamine Zaccheaus fumble. Overall, Hurts had his best game in a very long time. And continuing on the train of good things that happened, can we at least acknowledge the fact that we were all wrong about Britton Covey, who continues to prove that he's a legit weapon on special teams, and he really gives us a kicking game edge that we haven't had in who knows how long. And of course, there's the funny viral videos of fans chanting, "Run the football" to Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson, and then they actually did to a very successful rate. And after those chants, 170 total yards in the ground? DeAndre Swift was absolutely amazing. It's crazy what happens when you give DeAndre Swift more than just 8 carries in a ball game. And of course, Nick Sirianni, being asked about running the ball chants, seemed to laugh and enjoy the fact that fans are telling him exactly what's wrong with the team and what he needs to do better.
Run the ball chants.
Yeah, of course you can hear that. Yeah. No, we call the plays we feel like we need to call in the situations we need to call it. And I thought we did a really nice job, running it and passing it today. And so, but yeah, you can hear that. And I think I'd hear that too, even if I had a double headset on.
And again, let's not forget about the defensive side of the football that had a really, really good evening. I mean, Shaq Leonard, he had a back-to-the-future performance. He actually looked like a solid starting middle linebacker for Philadelphia. I mean, after those first couple of weeks, I kind of had written the guy off, and I thought he was going to be, somewhat of a bust, maybe not even play when Zach Cunningham and Morrow came back, and yet he led the team in tackles. He had the team's only sack. He filled gaps in the hole. He looked quick. He could tackle. I mean, even he talked post-game about the fact that people had written him off, and he's just excited to have one of his better games in, almost 2 years? Think about it. If Philly gets this Leonard the rest of the way, Zach Cunningham's coming back very soon, Avonte Maddox probably next week, this defense, which, again, played pretty darn well, except for that one deep ball to Darius Slayton. I know, what is Reed Blankenship doing here? Still, it's not been the best, but at least it wasn't terrible yesterday. I mean, can we at least acknowledge that Kelee Ringo looks really good and probably should be the starter alongside Darius Slay once Slay goes ahead and comes back, going to bench Bradbury or at least mix Bradbury in there just a little bit. I mean, take away the game-winning interception, Kelee Ringo has been absolutely fantastic and very clearly seems to be the future at corner. He's big, he's fast, he's physical, he's everything that you want, and he's not giving up big plays in back-to-back games. Now, of course, all this won't matter if Philadelphia's one and done in the postseason, but they're kind of setting themselves up for at least making it to the divisional round based on the fact that they're probably going to be the 2 seed and yet still have a chance to be the number 1 overall seed. I mean, as we're sitting right now, the 49ers, after wetting the bed last night, have created a path for Philly to get the 1 seed. All they have to do is win out against Arizona and the Giants. San Francisco loses one of their next 2 at Washington and then versus the very hot Rams, and then Dallas beats Detroit next week, or at least loses their final game, and bang, Philadelphia would be the 1 seed. So at worst, you're going to be the 2nd seed and hosting every single playoff game until the NFC title game. And if your instant reaction to seeing this and listening to me talk good about Philadelphia is that they're going to be a one-and-done football team, did you not remember what I talked about in the very beginning where we watched San Francisco look terrible last night? Dallas lost on the road. I mean, they're going to have to go on the road in the postseason. Even the Lions have been fun but not very scary the past couple of weeks. And, of course, even good teams or teams we thought were going to be good like Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have their struggles. There's no good football team in the NFL right now. Ravens are probably it. I mean, at least for right now, but even they have bad losses on the season. If Philadelphia can win their next 2 games and continue to look better than they have the past couple of weeks, because last week you probably got 3.5 quarters of good football, there is still a chance for them to be a threat in the postseason, especially with that running game and that offensive line. Anything is definitely possible. Now, again, I'm being positive. Things can change, and obviously if they were to look bad against the Arizona Cardinals this coming week, then we can flip the script and get upset and have a big rah-rah about Nick Sirianni and the offense and the defense. But did you at least enjoy a little bit of what you saw on Monday night? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I'm going to read every single one. I want to gauge the fan base and see if I've been too happy, if I've been too, easy on them, or if there's still some work that needs to be done. Now, of course, I'm still traveling. I'm back tomorrow night, so probably one more show on the road, and then we're back in the studio. But plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks here. It's your one-stop shop for everything happening with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.